and welcome back to the Real Deal podcast, where we talk about all things raw, real, and relatable. I'm going to start this episode by pointing out something which we all would have done at one point in our lives, or probably still do it. You know how you replay the hurt again and again, and then keep telling yourself that I should have said this, I should have said that. They deserve to go through this pain because they put me through it. That is a sign of you holding a grudge. The emotion that we are going to talk about today is grudge. In today's episode, I really want to explore with you all what exactly is grudge, why we hold on to them, and what is it that we can do to let that grudge not consume us. So let's get started with the basic understanding of what exactly grudge is. A grudge is a lingering thought that you have towards someone who has hurt you or disappointed you immensely. It it kind of often feels like we are protecting ourselves from other people or the things that they say, but in reality, grudge is something that keeps us stuck. It's like okay, it's like you are drinking poison, but you're expecting the other person to die. So you're the one holding on to the grudges for the other person, and you're expecting them to suffer because you're holding a grudge against them, which doesn't happen at all. Now, let's try and understand why do we hold on to these strong emotions. The first thing is because of the desire that you have for justice or even an acknowledgement. It is because of the fear of being hurt again. It's it's like having that belief. It's because we believe that letting go means we are excusing that behavior. And another reason why we hold on to grudges is because of ego and pride. If I have to quote my own story and talk about holding on to grudges, then let's understand why is it that we hold on to grudges. It's the desire for justice or acknowledgement. It's basically because we fear of being hurt again. We believe that letting go means we are excusing their behavior. And lastly, we hold grudges because of our ego and pride. All of these reasons may not be true for every person, but these are some of the main reasons why we hold on to them. I I want to quote an example from my school days to explain this feeling even further. If you have listened to some of the episodes from season one, you do know that I have spoken about how I went through a lot of like bullying and verbal abuse during my high school days. And it was really bad to a point where I have also had thoughts of ending my life and I've also attempted ending my life. Now, for a very long time, I kept telling myself that I do not have any grudge against, so and so from my school time. But the reality is, I did have grudge against them. I did hold the grudge against them. Only very recently, in the past, maybe 5, 6 years, that I have let go of that grudge. And I feel so much better now. So, how did I actually realize that I was holding on to the grudge? Is because I was having a lot of emotional heaviness, right? I constantly kept overthinking, always overthinking. And whatever their actions were, I would always think of negative. Even if they were doing something not so negative, I would still think they're doing that to target me. I had a lot of stress and anxiety because of those incidents during my school days. And I was not able to, just be my normal self around them. And like mainly, I didn't have peace of mind because I was constantly worrying, constantly thinking. And I feel like instead of present, I was always tied to my past. I couldn't enjoy anything. And that is when I started realizing that maybe I'm holding on to it, which is not needed as much. And that's how I started, thinking of letting go of holding grudges. And I do have some steps that I've written it down here, which I'm going to share it with you all. Now, a lot of you might say there is no need to let go of grudges. Sometimes people hurt you so much that you just don't want to let it go. Fair enough, each to their own. But here's my take on it. You don't have to forget what they did, but holding on to those grudges is only going to increase the emotional heaviness that you have. And you will not have any peace of mind because you're constantly thinking about that person. Like, whoever hurt you, they have moved on in their lives. Like, they're doing whatever they can in their own life. They have things to deal with in their own life. They do not even have the realization that you are losing your life here because you're holding something against them, and you're constantly telling yourself, you have to do something to give it back to them. You have to do something. You're trying to, think of ways in which you can probably do something similar to the person who hurt you and whose actions you didn't appreciate. So I feel holding on to them is at the cost of my own peace of mind, which I realized only later was not worthy. So here are some of the things that I firstly did, right? Acknowledge the hurt, don't deny it, and name what happened. As I mentioned, I was denying it initially, saying that no, I don't have any crush. I was just disappointed that they did so and so to me, but I don't have any grudge against them. I don't hold anything against them, which was not true. And I had to ask myself a few times to actually understand what exactly I'm going through. Next, separate the person from action. You can dislike what they did with you without carrying it forever. Sometimes, with my experience, what I've realized, the person is not a bad person, but some of the actions they do might, hurt other people. Even when I was thinking of some of the things that I went through during my, school days, with some of them, they were not bad people. They only did whatever they did because they got instigated by other people. So the more I started realizing this, the list of people whom I had against whom I was holding grudges, the list started becoming shorter and shorter because I started thinking in a lot of different ways. Yes, there was a lot of overthinking involved, and that was because I was trying to let go of that grudge that I held against a few of them. Shifting perspectives. That is something that I still practice till date with every experience that I have. I want to know what is it that I'm learning. Even if I fail, I'm totally fine with it as long as I know what I've learned through it. And this shift in the perspective that I had towards, dealing with issues, it kind of helped me so much with my growth, with the way I think and the way I function. Choose release, not for them, but for you. This is something that really, really helped me because whatever anyone had to do, they did it and they're fine. Some of them don't even realize what they have done. They speak to me as if nothing happened. They don't even have the awareness that there was a point where they played with my life so much. They said so many bad things about me. They bullied me so badly. They abused me verbally so badly. They don't even have the realization of what they did. And here I am, holding on to the grudges, holding on to those feelings and feeling so heavy in my heart, giving them the importance that they don't deserve. So when I chose to release it, I realized I did it for me and not for them. And I felt so much better. The more I held on to things, the more I started hating them for no reason. And the last thing that I have is, if possible, forgive without forgetting. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you're erasing those memories. It releases that emotional hold that it has. I can still remember whatever they did to me, but I don't have to hold the grudge. I don't have to feel so heavy within myself holding on to, you know, um, onto the grudge. So this is something I really want everyone to take away from this episode and put it into practice. It is not going to be easy at all. In fact, a lot of you might like have a lot of counter arguments about, this episode, saying how can we not hold on to a grudge? How can we let go of something so easily? It is not easy. It is very hard. I understand. I've been through the phase. I know how it feels. But this is something definitely worth giving it a thought. and trying it out and see if it works for you. You don't have to forget. I have not forgotten anything that I've gone through. It's just that the grudge that I had against them is not there anymore. And that's how I am able to even speak to them, to some of them, even after all these years of holding grudge. So I'm going to close the episode by saying, holding grudges might really feel like self protection, but in reality, it is just locking us in pain. And also, very important to know that letting go doesn't mean whatever happened was okay. It's just, it means you're choosing freedom. You just don't want to get stuck in something in that same loop, holding grudges. So you're just letting it go for your peace of mind. So if today's episode resonated with you, or you felt related, or you felt like this is something that you can practice and see for yourself if it's going to help or not, then I would really appreciate your feedback on what you felt. And if you know somebody who is going through this, and who you think will benefit from this episode, please do pass it on to them. Please share the link. And I would really like to know what you're feeling with these episodes so far. Feedback for me is very, very important, because it kind of takes me to the direction that I really want to go, and see what is it that I can do my best with to bring out content that relates, that is real, raw, and relatable, because this is not just any deal, this is the real deal. So thank you for tuning into today's episode. I'll catch you next week. See you. Bye bye.